Hey guys, it's Sapphire Young. I'm here with a review for American Horror Story Coven, episode 3 last night. So, episode starts off with us in the academy where we see all these portraits. All these portraits in the house are of the Supreme Witches, of before, So we did see Fiona, our Supreme Witch now, who's looking at a picture of, okay, I'm not really good with names, so Anna Lay, I believe that's how I pronounce Anna Lay, who was the Supreme when Fiona was young. So we then are thrown back to 1971. And we see our Fiona as a pretty much young adult. She's impatient and precocious as always. And as she's talking with her Supreme, about, being Supreme and stuff, Fiona knows that she's next in line to be Supreme. And her Supreme was like, well, you're not ready for it yet. And so she's like, oh, yes, I am. And ends up slitting her own Supreme's throat. So, it's like, really? Like, dang. The love of power. Woo. Crazy, huh? So, she pretty much has to kill this eccentric throne. So, we see poor Spaulding witness Fiona's act. And now we kind of be pretty certain that's how he lost his tongue. Because obviously he saw what happened. So to pretty much keep him from talking, she had to cut out his tongue. You kind of felt bad for him. Like, oh, poor baby. So after we see this flashback, we are now thrown back to the present where we see Fiona talking about, we have a little monologue talking about it's a dance. Pretty much saying that it's a dance, about how how she doesn't have to really use magic. She's talking about her youth, like as a woman in a bar, you really don't have to do much to get a man to kind of come over to you and flirt with you. You just sit there, look pretty, and do your use your as Grumpy said in Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, your feminine wiles. You just do a little cute thing like, hey, you're not really physically saying anything. You just, I'm not sure how it really goes. Okay, I never did the whole flirt thing in the bar. Okay, I don't know how it goes, but some of you women out there know what the heck I'm talking about. You do your pretty thing. And he's like, oh snap, I like her. I'm gonna buy her drink. You do. So it's present day. She's getting older. So as she's looking at the guy, he walks right past her, and he comes up to this young black woman and this young white woman. Obviously, saying that, kind of referring to the fact that you're old. Young guys are not really gonna be going for you no more. As in Snow White and the Huntsman, with Ravana's talking about like men love us when we're young, but it's like we get old, they throw us away and they move on to the next hot piece thing, which is simple unless they guys into cougars. And Fiona's all good, you know what I'm saying, girl. You know what I'm saying, but she's not, men are pretty much not finding her sexual attractive, and she said the dance would end. She's getting older. She feels her powers are departing from her body, and then when she even visits a last resort plastic surgeon who tells her that her immune system is failing and he can't perform any surgery. So that means there's a new Supreme on the horizon whose magic can only be growing stronger, but who is it? And so we end up discovering who is the new Supreme in waiting. Who's the new Supreme. We see Madison and Ann. They're on the balcony watching this boy and his mom move in. The boy like TV show talking about it's hot. And his mom comes out like, boy, put on your shirt. It's sinful. Obviously we could kind of tell from the mom's behavior that they're like super religious. Like she's like, put on your shirt. And she sees the girls up there looking at him like, And it's not Madison. It's Madison, Nan, and Queenie. I'm sorry. So Nan and Madison decide to walk over to the next door. Nan bakes a cake, because she's clairvoyant, so she knows that what's his favorite flavor of cake is, her little clairvoyancy. So, within this scene between the neighbor, Luke, Madison, and Nan, Madison is more of a sexual, vixen, as you would say, because every time you see her, she's in like, she was a, superstar. But she's always in heels and she's always in like a tight fitting form dress. Now, Luke being the man of faith that he is, he's not really turned on. I mean, he probably is turned on by Madison, but he holds restraint. You know what I'm saying? That because you see a girl in a high skirt don't mean you be like become a freaking horn dog. It's called restraint. So he probably does find her attractive, but to a certain extent, because she's being a little bit too forward. You know what I'm saying? She's like, would you like to try a cake? And she's just saying like really sexually, things. And he's not really turned on by that. I'm like, not every guy is gonna be turned on by a woman that's sexually forward. Some men prefer a little modesty, or in case of Nan, she's not, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but she baked him a cake. He's like, oh, my favorite, and she's like, oh yeah. See, he likes. I see Luke more like in Nan than Madison, just because I could see Nan as that type of girl he would be with. She bakes a cake. A lot of women, especially in this age, are more of like, I'm independent, INDP, all that stuff, independent, I buy my own house, Miss Independent, all your fans are paying, I buy my own rings and stuff like that, get your Destiny Child on, you get your stuff out. But at the end of the day, at certain parts of time, you're going to, your basic needs is going to be there. I mean, you can look sexy and stuff all day, with the nice clothes, you could be good in bed. I don't care if you memorized freaking Kama Sutra and did every single tip you've read in Cosmopolitan. That's not gonna keep a man. If a man wanted that, he could have just got himself a prostitute or go look at a stripper for sex appeal. As a woman, you're gonna need more than your physical attractiveness and being good in bed. Okay, a man is gonna also want a woman who can be a good mommy. Because at the end of the day, yes, we're men and women. At the end of the day, when we're looking for mates, this is just what I've seen on like Discovery, the science of sex, and what else I watch? Stuff that delves into human beings, our basic instincts and stuff like the documentaries they have on that. Is that as men and women, at the end of the day, we're looking for potential mates so we can have very good offspring. There's certain key things that we look for as men and women that we want a potential mate. For men, it's more of a physical attractiveness. Okay, is she pretty? And they said that men also look for the hips ratio. That's why it always, especially in hip hop music and R&B, there's always a reference to a woman's hip size. 36, 34, 35, well, however the inches thing go. Is an emphasis on our waist, because you have to have, like Johnny Depp says in the movie Dark Shadows, baby making hips, because apparently you have to have proper hip things. That's what men looking for. Like, oh, can she have baby? It's like subtle things they look for in a female partner, and vice versa for a woman. Woman most likely is not necessarily looking for cuteness factor. I mean, a guy looking sexy like Chris Hemsworth. I mean, she of course she would go for that, but she's also looking for, can you be a good provider and protector? So that's why I remember this documentary saying that they were doing something on men. They showed women pictures of men, and on the side of them, on the side of the picture, they had their occupation and how much money they make. And so women was not really focusing on how he looked, but they was focusing more on what he did and was his salary. So a guy who worked at Burger King, he was cute physically, but she saw that he worked at Burger King and what his minimum wage was, and salary range, like, no, he's not cute. But give a guy who was not nearly as attractive, but you say he's freaking working at Apple or Microsoft and he making such and such, or he a Dr. Lord, he was more cuter than that, because in her mind, okay, he has this type of job. That means he can provide a roof for me and my family, and I could know that he's going to be, he's going to provide all the things, food, clothing, and shelter. That's what I'm looking for in a man. It's just simple things that we focus on. So in the scene, he's not really, looking at Madison in terms of a sexual thing. So his mom then comes in, Luke's mom comes in, and then all hell kind of breaks loose. Because Madison is just still being sort of disrespectful. I mean, okay, Madison, you may not be, a person of faith, but that doesn't mean you disrespect this woman's faith, because she was just being too bluntly about, sexually blunt. And I'm like, dang, girl, you don't gotta be that freaking disrespectful. That's just rude. I don't care if you're a Muslim, you're a Judas, Christian, whatever. it's called having respect for another person's, faith and beliefs and stuff. And obviously, Madison just did not have any of it. And so she gets mad and start fighting over the knife because she was going to try to cut him cake and she was being sexual with it. So she ends up using her telekinetic power, throws the knife into the wall, and the woman's like, "Get out of my house." So she's like, ugh. So Madison's getting all mad, and then as she's looking toward these curtains, she ends up igniting the curtains on fire. And Nan's like, "Oh my god, I didn't know you do that." And Madison's like, "I didn't know I could do that neither." So as Nan mm, so back at the house, we have Madame LaLaurie. If you don't know who that is, that's the white lady who was torturing all her slaves. She has become the maid assigned by Fiona, and so as she's in there, she don't want to be the maid because she's still in her mindset of it's during slavery time, and she was even more upset when she was watching TV and she saw Barack Obama as president, and she was just crying like, "Oh Lord, what has happened to this God-loving country?" Because a Negro is president. She lost it right there. I was like, "Girl, you must have lied in a couple of years. You've been locked up." Yes, we have a black president. Woo, that I thought that scene was just hilarious. So when she is becoming a maid, she refuses to serve Queenie because obviously Queenie is a black female, and so Fiona tells her that she will be Queenie's personal slave, and because she hates racists. So that look on her face when she heard that she had to serve a Negro, oh, she was just like disgust, like, oh my god, I had to serve a Negro, like, like she couldn't believe it, like, she wanted that. So later tonight, Queenie and Madame Laura's, Madame Laura's fixing Queenie some food, and she's complaining about that Queenie shouldn't be eating so much, and that if she was her daughter, that she would have chained up the refrigerator. And Queenie goes, "Well, Dr. Phil said because I've never got love that I'm eating to feel the love." And Madame Laura be like, "Girl, I think you need another doctor." And so Madame LaLaurie hears something outside, only to see that is the freaking Minotaur that she was so fascinated with that she created. And she freaks out, like, "Oh my goodness." And she starts locking up the door. There's all these freaking locks on this door. It's like freaking 6 freaking locks on the door. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of locks. So she starts freaking out. Queen's like, "What the hell are you freaking out for?" And she's like, "What the hell's out there?" And so she goes and says that is my houseboy. Like, please, you gotta hide me. And she's like, "Why the hell should I hide you?" Because she couldn't remember why she couldn't remember exactly who she was until we see a flashback of Queenie remembering that she was in the house of horrors about Madame Laura. And she's like, "Why the hell should I help you after what you did? What I heard about you?" And she's like, "Please help me. He violated my daughter." And she's like, "All right, I'm gonna help you then." Now at this point in time, as we know, he didn't violate your daughter. Okay, that's what you want to believe, that he violated your daughter. Your daughter willingly slept with that Negro because she know it would piss you off. She knew it would piss you off. Come on, it's slavery time. You think a white woman would voluntarily if she wanted to get married to a white man, she would have voluntarily said, "Yeah, I slept with this Negro. Yes, I slept with him." No, that would ruin her chances of getting married to a proper white man. So, if a white woman was voluntarily sleeping with a black dude or one of his house slaves, obviously they would have hanged that fool. They would have castrated him and hanged him without a freaking doubt. Let's just be real. And they would have said, "Oh, she was raped, and she was raped against her will, and she would end up getting married anyway." Because now the white man would be like, "Oh, you poor thing, raped by one of those wild savages." So she done told Queenie this story that he violated my daughter. So now Queenie's kind of because you kind of feel bad for him. Everybody you feel sympathetic for, like, "Oh, your daughter, I can believe that," because especially nowadays we like, "Oh snap, he raped you." Like, he's a bastard, he's an asshole. That's automatically in this mindset. That's how we are. "Oh my god, that son of a b, So she ends up, helping her out. She cuts her arm, or cuts her hand, and dabs the blood onto the, wipes the blood onto the thing. So she has like scent of her. She goes outside, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so stupid. So she sees him, and he literally, because of some enchantment that his lover, Maria Laveau has put on him, he literally, the bullhead that he has on him is literally his head now. Is like he's really a minotaur now. He's really a freaking minotaur, and it's kind of scary. I'm like, oh shit! If I was back home and I saw that, I would not go outside. Then it was all misty and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, that just added elements of scary. Like, okay, you got this black man with a freaking bull's head, and it's all misty outside. And you going outside, girl? What's wrong with you? You supposed to run. You supposed to go outside. Screw that slave. Screw Mrs. Madame Lalaurie. Screw her. Save yourself. So, Queen lures the Minotaur into Dila's greenhouse, and it just got kind of gets weird for that. And she's like, she goes into speech like, "You just wanted love. There's no reason to call you a beast." And then she starts masturbating, and given the fact that she's a human voodoo doll, so she's focusing on him. So as she's masturbating, obviously he's getting excited. So then he gets up behind her, and then he covers her mouth, and she like. So then we go back to Zoe, go to see Zoe, who visits Missy's place in the bayou where she is slowly nursing Kyle back to health. He's not speaking, but he's a little bit more there, but not fully. And Zoe decides to take him home to see his mom, who she had seen earlier, and saying that she really missed her son, and we saw her trying to hang herself, over the loss of a kid, but Zoe apparently saved her from that thing, saved her from committing suicide. So Misty is like, as Zoe's getting ready to take Kyle out, back to the mom, Misty starts to get a little bit clingy, and she's like, no, you stay with me, I nurse you back to health, I love you, and stuff like that. Kyle, obviously, even though he's not full of that, the only person he kind of recognizes is Zoe. He kind of focuses on her, like. Where was I? Oh yeah, she kind of Missy kind of clicks out a little bit, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, now she's looking a little scary. And Zoe says, I'm gonna come back for you, I promise. And then Missy starts crying and stuff. She starts twirling stuff to her little Stevie Nicks music that she listened to, whatever. And I'm just like, okay, this girl obviously has some issues. So then, when Zoe reunites Kyle with his mom, she's all excited that her baby is there. And she said that your body is not your body. Something is wrong, because she opens up the curtain while he's in the shower, and she notices that that's not his body. Now my thing is, okay, he's your son, and I'm pretty sure moms are not supposed to be looking at their sons' naked bodies once they reach a certain age. So how the fuck do you know that his body and his parts are not his? Something is wrong though. So we see him in the bed, and the mama's like, I'm glad you're home. And she starts kissing him on the lips and starts moaning and stuff, and starts putting her hands in his pants and starts, I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my god, no wonder he didn't want to come out. You're abusive. So and you got an incestuous sexual abuse going up in here. So later that night, when his mom tells him that she invited Zoe over for dinner, and she gets more incestuous and starts getting, I guess, jealous, and she's like, touch her son like, she can't love you like mama knows how to love you. I'm like, bitch, you're his mom. You ain't supposed to be loving him like that in the first place. What is wrong with you? Oh my god. So Kyle, obviously tired of this sexual abuse, bashing that bitch's head in. That's it. I'm sorry. I kind of saw it coming. Like, I'm pretty sure he gonna click her because he's not physically fully there, and you constantly, and it's like obviously bringing up too many memories of childhood, and you're still doing it. Okay, that was it. He clicked out, bashed your head in. So when Zoe gets there, it's all dark and stuff. She's like, oh my god. She gets in there, she sees the woman's head bashed in, like he bashed that broad's head in, and she freaks out because she sees Kyle behind her. He's obviously covered in blood. She's like, oh snap. So she pretty much gets out of there. Because it's not like you really say that she was killed by her kid, you know, because technically her kid is pronounced dead. You know. So we then go back to Fiona and Madison's storyline of the show, where Madison, Fiona pretty much tells Madison that you're the next Supreme, right? She takes her out, having her focus on things, you know, kind of just to confirm that she's supposed to be the next Supreme. And so she takes her out to the bar, and she kind of goes into that moment of like she sees herself as Madison, you know, younger and stuff. And earlier when it was out like at a cafe or something, she was talking about self-preservation and what people would do in terms of self-preservation. Like Madison should have noticed something was going on when Fiona all of a sudden was being color with you. So when they get back to the house, you know, they've been drinking this stuff. Well, Madison was drinking a little bit more than Fiona. And she was talking about, you know, my picture's gonna be up there, your picture's gonna be here, and Madison's like, I'm not gonna think I'm gonna graduate. And she tells her, yo, you get Supreme. She's like, me, really? Because she's talking about her power to grow and stuff, and she tells Madison that she killed her own Supreme. You know, and she kind of felt like she wasted her power the way she ascended too early and stuff like that. So she shows her the weapon in which she slit her Supreme's throat. She tells Madison attacking, like, kill me, to send to the throat. Madison's like, no, no, no. And she ends up slicing Madison's throat. I'm like, wow. So here's Spartan again, who sees it all again. I'm like, dude, you would just come in at the wrong time. And he tells her to go bury her body and all the stuff that comes out her body. And go and bury her body, somewhere deep. And then, of course, with her daughter, it's Cordelia, I believe. It's not. You could correct me in the comments below. Her daughter goes to the doctor. Fiona's daughter, Cordelia, goes to the doctor to see why, get her results of her, her blood test. And according to her blood test, she is not able to have children, which is very upsetting for her. So she decides to go to the only person that she knows she can go to, which is Maria Laveau. So she goes to Maria Laveau and asks her about a fertility spell. And so we get like a little flash of how it would work. She would need the sperm of her husband in a jar, and then Maria Laveau has to take this really, really freaking hot pepper, which gets the guy's attention. And they do like the African chanting and the dance. Then they take goat and they slice the goat's throat, and then the blood has to fall on and Cordelia's womb, so she gets pregnant. And Maria Laveau's like, we have 100% accuracy of that this works. So she's like, oh my god, what do I need to do? She like, she'll need sperm and you'll need like 50 grand. She's like, okay, I'll freaking around and to do it. And Maria Laveau laughs at her like, ha ha ha, I'm not gonna do it for you. And she's like, why not? Because your mom came up in here. Pretty much it was her mom that kind of, she tells her you wanted some wrong time and talk about the incident with her mom coming up in here acting like she all queen up in this bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like she has messed with the wrong witch. You know that commercial part we see of Angela Bassett? So at this point you kind of feel bad for Cordelia because it's like, damn, the only person she knows that could actually help her get pregnant is Maria Laveau, but Maria Laveau's not gonna help her because of the actions of her mama, and I just feel bad for her because she really wants to have a baby because she cannot physically have one of her own intravenous. I mean, she could try a surrogate, but I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure she won't try a surrogate or adoption because she wants to, carry the baby herself. That joy of, becoming a mother. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel bad for her. You just kind of feel bad for her. And I'm guessing she going to Maria Laveau, that the spell we saw her do last time, the one that involved the eggs and the snakes and the fire ring of fire and the pentacle, and her eyes went black and they had to taste each other's blood. I'm guessing that with that weird sex one thing didn't work. So that's all for that episode. So Madison's dead. We don't know what Queenie. I'm guessing Queenie might be dead. I mean, it is a bull. I mean, you know, it's I and it's just you know, it's just like Anyway, that's all for American Horror Story Coven episode 3. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.